Hello, my name is Darren Taylor. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Massage Advantage and 360 Health Advantage. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the WARM program. That's the WARM, or the Wellness Activity Report Monitoring System. This program is what we classify at 360 Health Advantage to be the center of the hub. The center of the hub of potential success for your overall programs, because of the fact that right now we're looking at a product and a process that's unlike any other type of weight loss system that's out there. Most weight loss systems actually dwell upon one or two aspects or angles. For example, being able to help somebody achieve more exercise, or for somebody, for example, to be able to cut more calories, or some type of supplements that somebody should be taking. And any one of those things can help people, but oftentimes it isn't successful. Less than 1% of the people who start a dietary program actually ever complete it and maintain it successfully. That means the numbers are very, very low. And when you consider what the Center of Disease Control says, that 69% of the population in America right now is overweight, we're actually on the verge of a complete epidemic as far as weight loss is concerned in this country. That number is growing at 1.8% per year. Well, that's right, 1.8% per year in growth, and we're already at 69%. Something's got to give. And what we have developed is a system that brings in many different aspects and angles that allows this person to be able to gain their overall weight loss goals. Now, what does it start with? Well, it starts with the fact of accountability. Accountability is the number one factor for people as far as why weight loss doesn't work, why it's not successful. Thus, the reason why we developed the hub, the WARM program. What does WARM start with? Well, it starts with some very basic technology and some information, as well as some apps that people can download that's going to make it very easy for you, your accountability coach, or somebody in your staff to help this person actually meet those goals. What are the goals going to be? Well, the first thing we're going to do is going to need to discover what exactly it is that they want to achieve. But regardless of which angle they came in from, they may have come in from a skinny massage, from a regular massage. They could have come in as a patient or client of yours, somebody who's inquiring about your weight loss system that they've heard about, somebody coming in because of a body contouring wrap, somebody who maybe came to you because of a laser or LED lipo session. We don't care what the method is or how they actually arrived in your office, but what we do care about is giving them some type of foundation. Now, again, what is this foundation going to start with? We're going to start with a device that most people have already heard about and are familiar with, but they don't know quite how to use it to get the best results. It's called a Fitbit. A Fitbit is basically, it's a little device, a pedometer that you can actually wear on your wrist, or they make a couple other ones that can be actually worn on a belt or on your hip or even in a pocket. But what this does is it gathers critical information, vital information for your accountability coach to help that person achieve their success. And if you look, for example, you can actually order these products either directly from our website at 360healthadvantage.com, and they'll be drop shipped straight to the door, or for some of you who actually would like to stock some of this, order them from the website and stock the product in your clinic. This is what you're going to need in order to get somebody on the WARM program. But what's this device going to really help them with or tell you in order to help that person become more successful? One of the first things I want to point out actually is an app. Now, I downloaded this app actually on my iPad here, but we also can get the app that goes on any type of a computer, a laptop, a tablet, and even some of your most popular mobile and smart devices, which is going to make it very convenient for somebody to track. But what this does, for example, is it shows what has happened during the day already. So this morning I got up and I went for a walk. Right now, as of this particular video, I walked this morning 9,898 steps, which means that I actually went 4.54 miles. And I had 34 minutes of what they consider to be very active activity. And I've burned already 3,086 calories for the day. So what this does is it's giving us all the basic information that we're going to need to be able to start helping them with their accountability. Not only that, but it's going to help us be able to establish goals and be able to point them in the right direction to make them stay consistent. Now, I will tell you this, in order for this program to work successfully, you need to have somebody in your office, that accountability coach, that's a really good, I'm going to call them a cheerleader, somebody that can help that client really stay focused and stay on task. Our program is going to consist of suggestions and recommendations for them that's going to be followed up with each and every week with at least a 10-minute appointment. So let me describe to you what happens as far as somebody getting started with WARM. They've come into your system, into your program, through some avenue. We've actually talked about the program, and they're now virtually interested in it. When we go to talk to them about being interested, we're going to tell them that there's a $35 joining fee. Now, some of you may be running promotions and whatnot to waive this fee. Some of you may not charge it at all. Some of you maybe go ahead and charge the $35 fee. But we do have a fee out there so people can see that there's actually value in that time it's going to take for your accountability coach to meet with them. Along with that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be gathering some very critical and key information. That information is going to start with several things that everybody recognizes when it comes to weight loss. Number one is, what does that scale say? Because you know what? People determine weight loss by one of three factors. One of them is actually going to be on the scale. Two of them is going to actually be in the measurements as far as their girth and their width. And the third one is actually going to be in how they look. And we're going to use all three of these pieces through your accountability coach to keep that person on task and on direction. Now, here's what's going to happen. The person has come actually in. We're going to be able to actually have them staying on the scale, and we're going to be able to gather their weight. We're also going to be able to use one of our devices, and we're going to recommend a couple of them to you. One of them is actually going to be a digital tape measure. It makes it a lot easier for you to be able to pull the tape actually out, wrap it around the person, and then it shows you on the display exactly how many inches around the key areas. We're going to be writing these down actually as part of their intake paperwork. So in other words, they'll have an intake form when they came in, but it's also going to allow us the opportunity to make some notes that we're going to be able to track with them as well. If they have a client that's actually a little bit bigger than the 60 inches on this one, we do have a manual tape that you can use as well. When we're looking at this, one of the things that's going to be very important, besides getting their weight, we're also going to make sure that we're going to use a device like this that is going to allow us the opportunity to not only gather the weight, but also be able to use this to gather their BMI and also give us some information as far as their muscle mass. Now, this is going to be something that they're going to use each and every time in their future appointments. And remember, the first appointment when they're coming in is going to last about 35 or 40 minutes potentially. Each visit thereafter for the next 5 to 6 visits will last approximately 10 minutes. In those 10-minute sessions, we're going to break them down for you in some additional training videos as to what you're going to be covering in those. So we've gotten their weight, we've gotten their BMI, we've gotten their muscle mass, we've started to gather inches. The next thing that's going to happen is we're going to gather some photographs. Now, why we want the photographs? Because seeing is believing. And when people can actually see themselves, they're much more inclined to be able to feel more motivated. Most of us, if you're just like myself, you get up every day and you stay in the mirror. Did I look at myself one day and realize that I gained 50 pounds? Well, yeah, after I gained 50 pounds I did. But along the way, it's like a pound came or a pound was lost or a pound was gained or 2 pounds was lost. I didn't recognize that change in myself. Other people may have that haven't seen me in a while. But as far as us being subjective, it's very hard for us to look at ourselves and say, you know what, I'm gaining weight today. So what we do is we actually have them stand in front of the posture analysis grid. This grid is going to be the opportunity for us, number one, to get some angles for them to be able to show them what their loss and their gains is going to be, but it's also going to be another tool we're going to use later on for the conversion process to be able to potentially convert these people into other services we offer at your practice. Now, when we actually start visiting with somebody about this and we start talking to them about the Fitbit, what we want them to do is we want to establish a baseline. So the first week when somebody actually has their device, we're not going to change anything. We're going to ask them to wear the device, and we're going to have it set up to where we're going to be able to monitor it, and this is going to be done through an app that's already created by Fitbit. So we're not having to reinvent the wheel with some of this technology. We simply need to know how to retake that information and reformulate it into what works for us. So we've actually got the individual that's wearing some type of device. We're going to be able to gather that information, be able to see it on our tablet or on our phone. We're going to be able to get some measurements about them. And the thing that this app will also do is it allows us to be able to enter in the amount of water we've taken in for the day and the amount of calories we've taken in. It's going to calculate our caloric burn, but it won't create our caloric intake without having to enter the information. So that can be done in one of several ways. There's a few apps that will actually be able to look at. You can put in the food that you've eaten and it'll count the calories for you, or actually provide them with one of these diaries. The diary is actually going to allow them the opportunity to go in and jot down what it is that they actually ate. This is going to be important, and the reason why we have these weekly sessions with them is because we want to be able to monitor this along the way. Now, one of the things that people say about any kind of weight loss program is, how much am I going to lose? Or what's the goal? Well, the goal is going to be established in the front end, but this system is really about creating people's lifestyle change in a very gradual sort of way. Not these huge spikes, because what happens when you have a huge drop, you also have a huge rebound. And that's where most diets actually start to fail. People get on something and then they can't sustain it. So what the WARM program does is we communicate with somebody. If you have more than a pound of loss of weight per week, that's great. But you know what? Our goal is to focus on losing an average of 1 pound per week. That's right. So if you have 20 pounds you want to lose, we're looking at a 20-week process. Then we're going to convert over to maintenance and be able to stabilize where that client is actually at. But along the way, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making recommendations as far as dietary changes. We're going to be looking at exercise. We're going to be looking at their sleeping habits. And this, again, is all going to be gathered by the Fitbit device. It's ingenious the way that this works together. The device gathers the stuff and monitors that client for you. So you don't have to spend day in and day out literally with them in order to make sure they achieve success. But what we are going to be able to do is be able to review those results. Now, it isn't that a client can't buy the device themselves and actually monitor their own stuff, but the problem with it is it's just the same reason why somebody goes to a gym and hires somebody to coach them how to lift weights. Why do they do that? Why do they hire a personal trainer? It isn't because they can't lift weights. It's about accountability. It's because you need somebody that's going to be your coach and somebody that's going to cheer you on. And that accountability coach is that person. That's the reason why it's imperative that whoever your accountability coach is actually going to be a great cheerleader. We're going to applaud them when they lose weight on the scales. We're going to applaud them when they lose weight or they lose inches. And we're going to applaud them when they start to look different. But you know what? We're liable to see change in one of those areas and not the other two. Why is that? Well, as most of us will understand, if a person starts to get healthier and they potentially start to exercise more, they lose fat, but we could be gaining muscle. So guess what? Sometimes you're having a replacement of fat for muscle. But let me just ask you, if you had your choice of having an extra 20 pounds of fat or 20 pounds of muscle, which one do you want? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to help this person potentially slim down by cutting calories out. Now, we're going to teach you, and you're going to hear us repeat it over and over again, but some basic fundamentals of weight loss, and it works right together with the warm system, is it takes 3,500 calories to burn off 1 pound of fat, which means that your options for losing weight is either burning an extra 3,500 calories in exercise, which is going to be tough if you don't change anything, or restricting 3,500 calories out of your diet, which could be challenging if you try to do it any one given day, if not nearly impossible. But what really happens is we're going to graduate this person through the warm system to start to reduce their caloric intake, increase their caloric burn, and marginalize on the difference. All we need to do is hit 500 calories a day of difference, and you're going to start seeing dramatic transformation take place in these clients. And it's going to happen, again, in one of three areas: on the scale, around the waist, or when you start looking at the way that they look, take a picture and put them on there. So we start seeing these changes on our scales by seeing the difference change in their BMI. We start seeing these changes actually when it starts talking about their muscle content. So when somebody says, well, you know what, I haven't changed much in weight, but we look at the device and realize that, you know what, well, you've gained an extra % of muscle, which would you rather do? And that's going to make it much easier for that accountability coach to help keep this person motivated and keep them coming into your practice. Now, we've said all of this to get back to one thing, and that is there's no dietary program out there that I have ever found that is all-encompassing or as encompassing what this program can be, because we're going to focus on and start with what we know needs to happen, which is the caloric intake, the activity, and the caloric burn. Then from that, with the monitoring system, it's going to help us be able to track these things, and as I mentioned, including their sleep. Sleep is one of the things that a lot of clients miss out on. They don't understand what sleep has to do with weight loss, but one of the things I can tell you for sure is if you do a little research on the internet and you find that clients that don't have at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep per night oftentimes don't have substantial or have a considerable weight gain. Why is that? Because the body doesn't go through the process of being able to heal itself at night and getting enough proper rest. So these are all going to be recommendations that we're going to be making through our accountability coach at your practice through the client. What's it going to cost the client? Well, as I mentioned, it's going to be a $35 joining fee to join the system. They're going to need to be able to purchase the pedometer device of their choice, and they start from $59 to $99 depending on the device they want. Then we're also going to have a $45 a month fee. Now this fee will be drafted on an ACH from their account, so each month they're going to see an ACH, an auto draft happen, pulling out the $45. So for about $10 a week, they're going to have the ability to have somebody be able to help them with their weight loss, give them suggestions, and come into your clinic and into your practice in order to be able to change their life. Now, what will happen at the end of this? Well, as we all know, what we're really shooting for not only is the person to become more healthy and not only to feel better, but also to look better. People that are happier and healthier always feel and always look better, and that's really what the goal of this program is. Lose some weight, get healthy, and you know what? We even show you a program along the way and how they can join the WARM program and actually get involved with their friends as well. We look forward to working with you. If you have any questions, make sure you contact our office. We're always here for you. And if you don't have one, order one from our website today. Start wearing it. You'll see exactly what the Fitbit can do for you and what it will do for your clients and your patients. I'm Darren Taylor. We look forward to working with you.